Alright, Roman's fucking here. Just kind of going through things. Had a light come on the GS, and comes right down to this guy right here, the servo for the flapper. So I actually went ahead and unplugged it, ohmed it out. The servo shorted, so rather than change that servo and replace it with you know, more expensive item, I went ahead and got a Servo Buddy. I'm gonna do away with that, do away with the cables, and leave the flapper wide open. It seems to be a common change that everybody seems to be doing. Mixed reviews, but everybody said, including the dealer, that the only reason why this thing was there was just to mitigate sound. So I don't care about that. I'd rather hear it than choke it out. So I'm gonna start tearing it apart, and I'll get right back with you. Alright, so this is the Woodcraft Servo Buddy. Eliminates the exhaust valve flap from factory. Comes with a bunch of stuff. Got a bunch of things from sent to me. You know, they threw in the box with it. Revzilla and all the common standard sticker joint stuff. So I'm sure my son will have a good time with those. But yep, I'm just going to start tearing this thing apart, and I'll pop right back on here in just a second. Okay, so I got this off. The flapper actually moves fine. It's the servo itself is jammed. I also, looking through this, went ahead and disconnected the plug going into it right here, pulled it up, tucked it out of the way, pulled this one out, loosened this screw right here, and I'll take him out and then slide that direction, disengaging those two pins, and slide it right out. Now what I did just see is this right here. The casing is worn through, and I'm sure what has happened is the cable got seized inside the sheathing, and it's something you really wouldn't notice unless you pulled it all apart. But you can see the sheathing itself is melted, kind of rubbed through one spot and then melted in another. So went up over here, and I mean, the flapper does move fairly easily, but I'm not going to spend the money and replace that servo. There's just no reason why. I'm not overly concerned about excess sound or that, you know, noise that, you know, people are so conscious about and so hyper conscious about. I do have him, a Servo Buddy that seems to be something that everybody's using. It does the trick. I'm going to put this here, I'm going to plug it into there, and then I'm going to zip tie it out of the way along with the harness right here, and get this tucked up, neatened up, and at the same time get this lump out of here, give everything a little bit more real estate. I'm going to go ahead and put this cover back on and get this part buttoned back up again, kind of neaten up everything. I'm just not really going to mess around with going ahead and putting a new servo on it. I mean, the dealer wanted like $370 for the servo, and then another $72 for each cable, which is just outrageous. I know I can probably find them cheaper online, but why? This right here cost me all of, I think, $62. So it's just a much more economical way of going. You know, they didn't, you know, I'm not sponsored by them. I wasn't sent this. None of that action. I went ahead and I ordered this, and you know, got it from J&P Cycles, and just throwing it all together now. Once I get this thing in place and buttoned up, I'll show you guys what this thing looks like. I did go ahead and drop the pan down, the skid plate down, just to give myself a little bit more real estate. This wing right here, right there, sticks right up, kind of blocking 40% of where this thing's at. And it's just easier to take out the 5 screws, drop that down, and get it out of the way. But you know, also gives me another opportunity to look around underneath here and see if there's anything else that needs more attention or not, and that type of thing. I mean, I've only had the bike a couple weeks and still have several things to go through, more things to look at, and we'll just kind of see what that leads us like. I found that one right there that needs to be zip tied up as well. So that shouldn't just be hanging, that should be tied up out of the way. Neaten it up, it doesn't need to be rubbing against the motor. So that's that. And I have another battery tender port here. It's the guy who had this definitely had accessories all over the place. There's 3 up on top, 2 USB outlets, port here for the battery tender, I'm guessing, because it's right by the battery. But there is a port on the other side with a 3-pin connector, and I think that might be for passenger seats, so, or passenger heated gear or something. But yeah, we'll see how this goes. I'll get right back to you as soon as I get some of this buttoned up. All right, well, apparently I'm out of black zip ties. I'll have to run to the store just to swap those out with black ones, but at least it's in place now. Nothing moves, everything's tight, everything's back together. No cables, no none of that stuff. Everything's out of there now, and everything looks good. We're gonna hop up and see what this thing sounds like. Shouldn't really have any difference, I don't believe, but other than maybe the no fault code, which would be absolutely beautiful. Neutral. But I got no fault code now, so that's a good thing. So it did what I needed it to do. We'll just have to see how it goes from there. But yeah, I'll finish getting this buttoned up, put the skid plate back on, get my gear, go for a ride, run down, get some parts, get some zip ties at least, get that sorted. I do have my rear diff to final drive to change the oil on. I'm going to go ahead and mess with that a little bit. But yeah, it did what I wanted it to do. The error code is gone and everything else seems to be fine. Starts, runs, does everything it's supposed to. So we'll see what it's like after I take it for a ride. I mean, I don't really notice much of anything so far. Man, it's windy out here. let's see here. I mean, they may call this bike, you know, a hippo and rhino and all that action, but I'll tell you, I don't care what you want to call it, but it's fun. It's definitely a whole lot more nimble, surprisingly, with its dimensions, its width and all of that, that it's as nimble as it is compared to the Super Tenere. Tenere is much, much narrower, but it is heavier. And shockingly, I mean, this has a whole lot more power than the Tenere does. Tenere, you're lucky to have, what, 94 horse, and this is a substantial difference. You know, I think this is supposed to have 136, which is pretty amazing for a bike this size, and still feel the power. Bike this big, it'll move. I mean, it's not like my Ducati, but still, come on. It's still very, very entertaining. Well, right there, boys and girls, is the Tesla Gigafactory, Austin. That is one mammoth building, second largest in the world. Crazy big. I mean, it just keeps going.